Zach is back with a prime original review. Today I'm reviewing Hunters. Hunters is based off of a very strange time in US history. After World War II, the USA and the USSR were fighting over the German Nazi scientists just for the purpose of advancing our space program, and that is it. Long story short, the USA actually ended up buying out a lot of these Nazi scientists and gave them sanctuary here in the USA. In this story, the Nazi scientists that were brought over here still want to bring about the Fourth Reich and rule the world like they wanted to do during the Third Reich during World War II. Too bad there's a ragtag team of Nazi hunters that consist of Jonah, our main character, a group of old concentration camp survivors, and a handful of other minority helping hands. To be honest with you, the show is very hit and miss for me. There's a lot of things great about the show. There's also a lot of things that are just kind of mediocre and insignificant about it. But first, let's go ahead and talk about the positives of the show. The first positive for me is that the beginning of the show really does hook you and makes you want to watch the show. I mean, just from the surface level of the narrative of the show about Nazis trying to rule the USA and kind of bring about the Fourth Reich within the United States, it's just a cool premise to begin with. It really gets you invested right away. The end of the show is actually pretty cool too. It makes you want to watch the second season just to know what's happening. It leaves off on a cliffhanger, and it's a very good cliffhanger. The problem is, though, is that between these two toasty, delicious, buttery buns, there is no filler. Like, there's no, meat in the middle. There's, a slice of salami, and it's kind of shitty salami, and then these two magnificent buns that you are like, oh, well, that's great bread. Where's the meat inside? That's the problem. The middle of the show is not there. But another great thing about the show, before I get into my negative opinions, I kind of slipped out just now, my negative opinions, but, the other great thing about the show is the two antagonists, or the main antagonists of the show. There's a particular Nazi named Biff that you'll meet in the beginning of the show, right away. And he's a really cool Nazi, and not in the sense because he's a Nazi, but his character is very cool. His charisma in the show is very cool. What's interesting about him is that he's the ultimate manipulator. He pretends to be this stay-at-home dad sort of husband guy, the guy who'd be barbecuing outside, have the little, the apron on and cracking dad jokes at the pool. He acts like that character, but underneath that calm, cool, collective dad that just wants to make dad jokes, he's actually a crazy Nazi serial killer. And it's really cool to see him switch between oh, how's it going, you guys? Nice, how great it is today. And then going from, all right, we have to kill all these Jews. I'm trying to do a German accent. I just can't do it. I ended up doing some sort of French assassin accent. I don't know. Anyways, he's a cool character. He has his own motivations, and that's what kind of drives his character along. His motivation is that he wants to get power. He's not in it for the Nazi Fourth Reich thing. He just wants all the power that he can obtain. He's brutal, he's smart, he's ruthless, he's patient. I like him. There's another Nazi in the show named Travis, and he's very interesting as well because I have to say Nazi in quotes because he's not a full-fledged Nazi from Germany that was trying to exterminate the Jews. He's a USA-bred Nazi, so I guess you'd call him a neo-Nazi. He wants to move up the ranks and actually be seen as a full-fledged Nazi like the ones from Germany. So he's working his way up the ranks. He's trying to prove himself to the Nazi party. And what's also cool about him is that he has this weird ideology in his head about the weak, being destroyed and the strong prevailing. And that even includes other Nazis as well. So he's not about just the Nazi code. He has his own kind of ideas in his head, his own motivation to just bring about the strongest in humanity. He doesn't obviously like other races and stuff like that, but he will also kill Nazis that he finds very weak and just not useful to him. So he's very kind of headstrong in that sense, and that's what makes him cool is that he has his own motivations that kind of transcend the whole Nazi ideology itself. Like I said, both of those characters have their own motivations, and that's cool. That's what makes a cool character. The problem is that the main characters have none of that. The only motivation that the main characters have is revenge. And that's cool and everything. I can get behind that. I really like revenge kind of style shows and things like that. The problem is, in this case, is that all the characters kind of blend in with each other because the only motivations they all have is revenge. For example, half the main group of people are Jews, which makes sense because, they don't like Nazis and they're trying to get back for, their family members dying. They sound and act like the normal stereotypical Jewish people, and they want revenge for their dead relatives. But that's it. You don't get anything deeper than that for their characters. So when you're actually talking about a lot of the main characters in the show, you actually have to talk about them. You have to talk about them in an outwards appearance. You have to say, oh, like the old Jewish guy, or oh, the young Jewish guy that wants revenge. And then the other cast of characters that are not Jewish, they're just kind of random minorities. So you have to say, like, the black hunter, the Asian hunter, the nun hunter. All of them, you don't even know their motivations in the show. None of them actually have their own plot in the show. They're just there to help out the main crew and helping hunting these Nazis, but you never actually get explained why they're there. I mean, think about it. If I was going to be in some sort of like hunting, going against the state, trying to kill people that are technically citizens at this point, and you can be in trouble through the law, you want to know their motivation behind that. Like, who died? Who are they trying to get revenge for? Why are they so sad about it? And none of these people are concentration camp survivors. At least the other minorities, the older Jewish people, obviously. But the other cast of characters, they never explain why they're there. They just say, yeah, they're hunters. And you're like, okay, but why are they here? You don't know. They never explain it. And the other thing is, too, is that if they want revenge, you don't know about it. They never explain their backstory. So you're just kind of sitting there going, there's the black hunter, Jewish hunter, Asian hunter, and you start sounding like kind of like a Nazi at that point. And I don't want to feel like that while I'm watching a show based on hunting Nazis. The other thing is, too, is that there's very shallow character development. There's like two characters that develop a little bit in the show, and they're like the two main good guys. But other than that, all the other characters, from the beginning to end, act exactly the same. And you don't get the reason that they're there, like I just said before. It doesn't really make any sense to me why they're there. It's kind of, what it feels like to me, and it's sad that I have to say this, it almost feels like tokenism to me, where they are just throwing in minorities to kind of spice up the color of the group, and then they never explain why they're there, what the reason is for they're just there for like their skin color, to make the show look colorful. And half the cast doesn't even need to be there. There's like the two main Jewish older people and then Jonah, and you can make the show off of that, really, because all the other characters are so underdeveloped and have no backstory whatsoever that you kind of you don't need them in the show, to be honest. You end up understanding the Nazis better than the main characters in a show based on hunting Nazis. Like, that's not what you're supposed to be going for right now. You understand the two main Nazi characters better than anybody else, and that's really sad, in my opinion. The other thing is, too, is that there's the Nazi party. There's the two main Nazis that I explained earlier, Biff and Travis. They have their own sort of motivations that doesn't really have to do with just the Nazi party. But the general Nazi group, you don't understand them either. They're kind of just like bad guys for the sake of being bad guys. And it kind of makes sense. The Nazis are kind of like that. But in the show, the reasoning behind them trying to bring about the Fourth Reich and, transform America and kill off certain people and things like that, they never really go further than skin level on why they're doing that. They kind of just like, yeah, we want to restart the Nazi party, and the only way to do that is to get rid of the people we don't like. And that's all you get from them. That's all I can say. Personally, I think that this season is actually a setup season for season 2, because they bring about a bunch of characters in the show that they never explain their backstory or any motivations that they have, but they're all there, and then the ending, I can't spoil anything, sets up for something that could be really cool. And I think the characters will get more developed in the second season. At least that's what it kind of appears to me. That's what they're trying to go for. But other than that, I can't really give the first season a pass because they're setting up for a second season. You know what I mean? In the end, Hunters is style over substance. It hooks you in with the premise of the Nazis trying to rule the USA, and then the Jews trying to hunt them down and kill them. That's a very cool premise. They just don't go any deeper than just surface level stuff. The ending is a good cliffhanger, but everything in the middle is all setup, but no substance. So I'm going to go ahead and give Hunters a C+. It's better than average, but it's not anything amazing. And I can't give it a pass just because it's a setup for Season 2. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and do all of that YouTube business. Please click the little bell if you want notifications, because I'm going to be producing more content soon. And thank you guys so much for watching. See ya!